Go to you next. Comment on any amendments you care to address.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also have many amendments that I hope that the committee seeks favorable views on and approves, but I too am here to testify in favor of this rule. I'm very grateful to each and every one of you who are here staying in Washington, D.C. Over the weekend, even after many members have gone back to their districts for various reasons. Namely being they were told they could. But we are here to ensure that we are all working together to avoid a government shutdown. That is the last thing that I want. I am here to serve my constituents in Colorado's 3rd District. I am here to fight for our veterans, for our service members. I want to ensure that agencies are functioning, that paychecks are issued, and that I am able to do my job to better serve them back at home. And that's why I'm here this weekend. There's plenty of events that all of us could have run off to, whether they be official or unofficial, but we're here to do the hard work of governing. And unfortunately, we have wasted many months and now we are here at this critical deadline of government funding running out and us on the brink of a shutdown. But this shows a lot of good faith, us being here, dedicated, talking about this rule. My colleagues and I, we're fighting to fund the government. We're fighting to uphold the promises that we made to the American people back in January. We took that speaker's race very, very seriously, not because of a person, but because of the policy, because of the procedure. We wanted to ensure that we were making fundamental changes to the way Congress operates. When I go back home, people don't speak favorably of Congress and the way that we do things here. And we wanted to make sure that we had an impact to redirecting the House of Representatives back to the original intent that our founders had, that we would actually do the work of the people rather than just having these straight up and down votes where you have to pick and choose what's worse in the bill, what's better in the bill to actually get a final vote on passage or not. I was very excited that the days of having to pass a bill to find out what was in it were gone. We've implemented 72 hours to actually read a bill before we pass it, and we promised the American people that we would no longer govern by omnibus bills. And now we're at the brink of a continuing resolution, which is very much the same. And we promised them 12 individual, single subject bills to fund the federal government. We are here to prevent the continuation of swampy status quo that we all see each and every day up here. Commitments were made earlier this year to rein in reckless spending and business as usual in Washington, D.C., and we expect those commitments to be honored. There are thousands of unauthorized programs that continue to be funded without oversight, congressional hearings, or even a reauthorization vote. This is absolutely unacceptable to have thousands of unauthorized programs that we are continuing to fund without even having a discussion of how we are spending the American tax dollar. The American people deserve better than the previous majority's way of governing. Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden bloated the budget and now we're seeking to continue that same budget. Some want this continuing resolution past September 30th, and I believe that that's completely unacceptable, especially now that Republicans have the majority here in the House. The American people voted for this majority to do things differently and fund the government in a new way that is not weaponized against them. We voted against the omnibus bill back in December, so why would any one of my colleagues on my side of the aisle vote to continue that past September 30th? Before the August district work week, the House passed just one of the 12 appropriations bills to fund the government. And we were promised that progress would be made over the 6 weeks that we were all back in district working with, hearing from, and serving our constituents, and that a plan would be in place when we got back. But instead, when we came back, you know, we welcomed $33 trillion in debt. We're looking at spending $7 trillion and only receiving $5 trillion, a $2 trillion annual deficit that we are all just very distraught over. I'm a mom of 4 boys. I got grandchildren. It is immoral for us to have a deficit this high. We have got to get the spending under control. And while there are disagreements on both sides of the aisle, and we're stuck at a crossroads here, there is a path forward. I'm so proud of the work that my colleagues have done. We have moderate Republicans and the most conservative Republicans working together to actually pass these bills individually. And the House should not go home this week once we begin voting without voting on these single subject bills that reduce bloated federal spending and show the American people that the Republicans, the majority that they voted for, can govern. It's not just a campaign slogan, but we actually get here, roll up our sleeves, and do the work that we promised the American people that we would do. And now is absolutely not the time to quit. We cannot risk a government shutdown, and this is why we are all here to do this job. We need to pay our brave service members. This is of the utmost importance. I've heard it mentioned in this committee today. They will be required to work in the event of a shutdown, and the same service members who have been subject to wokening and weakening of our military under this current regime, and Joe Biden, Secretary Lloyd Austin, they're suffering already. And to withhold their pay in the midst of that is also something that is very immoral and not our best. So I want to do this by passing the DOD bill that will fund the military to win every battle that we face in our upcoming future as the greatest nation. They need to have preparedness, military readiness, not just more focus on celebrating Pride Month. We also need to pay our brave border security officers. These Border Patrol officers, as you've heard today, they have been demoralized. I've talked to these Border Patrol agents who I've asked them, what can I do? What can I do to help you? And, they tell me we don't necessarily need more personnel because they're just processing agents at that point. We don't need more infrastructure at this moment. We don't even need more resources at this moment. We need the policy that allows us to do our job. Right now, we have a president that is ignoring the rule of law, our nation's immigration laws, and he is impacting the very men and women who risk their lives each and every day to secure our country. But they are there to stop the complete and total invasion taking place at the southern border, and that is infiltrating all of our states, making every state a border state, making this an issue in each one of our homes. In the last 30 months, Joe Biden and Secretary Mayorkas have been in control of the southern border. There have been 6.9 million CBP encounters and 1.7 million known gotaways. Let's do this by passing a strong DHS funding bill with strong policy writers to secure the border. And I applaud my colleague, Congressman Chip Roy's comments saying that this will get done. In funding the federal government, we will provide a solution to securing the southern border, to stopping or at least tremendously slowing down this flow of fentanyl, the tens of thousands of children that have gone missing, the deaths that have taken place, the innocent lives that have been lost because of these reckless policies. And also in the midst of a government shutdown, we cannot risk even the closure of our national parks, pausing passport and visa applications, grant applications, IRS verifications, mortgage approvals, new veteran benefits, and Social Security and Medicare applications. So thank you again for putting in this work. I ask you to continue to put in this work so we can avoid a government shutdown. We can get in this together, work together, put aside differences, and find a real solution for the people who are counting on us and are losing faith in us back home. Let's prove to them that we have their best interests at heart, that we aren't up here wasting time, that we care about their future, their children, and their children's children's future as well. Let's pass all 12 appropriations bills individually, single subject, through the People's House before September 30th, and we can keep the government open. We can stay here and do that work that we were elected to do. I'm here to do it. My colleagues are here to do it, and I'm proud to stand with you all today for the American people doing this work. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for the time.